No pressure.
Aaron, do you think we're alike?
Us? I don't really think so.
So, are you attracted to me then?
Ah, yeah. Wait. Ah, yeah.
When can I leave to be on my own?
Play the thing.
In this video, me and my friend Aaron are diving deep into the topic of opposites attracting. From friendships to relationships, we form our opinion whether the golden retriever and black cat trope is real. Alright, we are friends, yes.
Yeah. For a while now.
For a while now, for 3 years?
I think so.
Yeah, for 3 years, damn.
Something like that, yeah.
Time flies.
But initially,
Yeah, you hated me.
well, yeah, basically, because we very quickly went on like a trip
Yeah.
with mutual friends
Yeah.
to Hamburg.
Yeah, hamburger.
And your impression of me was fine, I think, right?
Well, I also said that you were really like closed off and very like unapproachable or something, so you were kind of stressing me out.
I am, yeah, so I get that. And you were a bit intense for me, like, and loud. So I remember telling like one of our mutual friends, like, I could never be friends with her. Like, she's nice, but like she's too much. And then like within like a few weeks we were very close friends.
Exactly.
Which is
yeah.
really interesting because then in the first encounter, you're thinking like, oh, he's so opposite or she's so opposite of me. So I don't think I could ever be friends with that. And now so many years later, we still are friends.
And doesn't it often also happen to you when you meet people and then you're like, I hate this person, I hate this bitch. And then she ends up being your best friend or something.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
It's like,
I've had that too.
What's up with that? Like, I don't understand it, but
Yeah.
it's interesting.
So what I saw online was that often we feel like this admiration or attraction to qualities that other people have that we don't have, but that we wish we had. And that's why we kind of like feel that initial attraction.
Maybe it's also similar to like a completely different thing, but maybe it's also similar to the fact when you are like projecting your insecurities on another person, basically.
Yes.
So that's the same thing where you're trying to get those traits from from another person because you don't have them or something.
Yeah, that's why you often see very introvert people being friends with very extrovert people.
Yeah.
Because the introverts might be like, oh, I wish I was that social. They admire them and then they end up like steering towards them.
Yeah. Apparently, like a National Academy of Science 2 years ago found that people intuitively assume friends behave similarly, even recalling non-friends as friends if they act alike. So if they like the same as you, you just automatically think that they're your friends or something.
Yeah.
And this, I guess, shows how perceived similarity can strengthen the emotional and cognitive bond with, like, between people. So that's kind of interesting. But, like, I wonder if, for example, with us, you think that we are alike in a certain things, or we just accept each other's vibe in a certain things, you know? Like, is it not being alike, but accepting it?
I think it's somewhere in between. Because I was thinking about this as well. If we perceived each other as like quite different at the start, why did we end up being friends anyway? There must be like our interests are very different, for sure. That's very easy to say. I'm into comic books, you're into like death.
Whoa, shots fired, like really bad.
But you're like into Deftones and like things like I'm
Yeah,
not
okay.
into.
That's true, yeah.
But then I started thinking about what things are we similar
Yeah.
in. And one of the first things that came to my mind was our work ethic, like in school. Like maybe that's
true.
why we were drawn to each other, because we
Also
are
know
both...
each other from school, first of all.
Yeah, yeah.
Good point, actually.
We met each other in university, so it also makes sense that if you're similar, like in your work ethic, that you are also drawn to each other.
Yeah.
And then the second thing that also came up to me, which is even bigger maybe, is that we are both people who love to complain.
Oh, yeah. Yup, all the time.
So at one point we just started like hating on everything and everyone together. And that's also, I think, how we bonded a lot, despite having like super different interests.
Yeah, but also talking about yapping, like, don't you feel like a lot of people connect with each other, like, when they start yapping about, like, other things?
Maybe.
Like, if you don't like the same person, this is a good way to bond over... Yeah, talking shit about the person, basically. Although you don't want to, you're like, I don't want to say anything rude, but like, he really like she really like you know, and
Yeah.
then that's how you become a bit closer.
In some cases, definitely. But I feel like, and maybe it's a bit of a stereotype, but if you, for example, look at like straight guys, they often bond through like football or something. So that's
Yeah.
really like an interest. Or I don't know, maybe politics or whatever. If there's really like this specific interest that keeps your day to day, like maybe the nerds or the popular girls or whatever, like those cliques you have in high
Yeah.
school, those people, based on their interests, always draw to each other. But for us, that was not really the case.
Yeah.
For us, it was different.
Yeah, now I'm also thinking about like what do we have as similarities, and it's hard, like from recent things we both like reading, I guess.
Yeah, but
do we like reading?
we both like reading,
but we don't like the same things.
we don't like the same books.
Yeah.
We both like music, but we don't like the same type of genre.
Yeah.
So it makes it sometimes complicated.
Yeah.
But we are still friends, and I think that's also why we chose this topic to talk about, because why is that? Like,
Yeah.
how can it be that if you have such different type of interests and things that keep you busy in your mind, how can you still have such a long-term friendship? Do you feel like most of your friends are similar to you or actually opposite of you?
I think most of my friends are opposite of me. Because also, I mean, like taking into account only one person, let's say thinking about my best friend, I think we're very different in the way that we approach things and also the way we deal with situations. I think that my best friend, she's more like keen to listening to her emotions and emotional response to the certain situations. But I'm normally very like calculating and very like practical person in this sense. And also even like a simple example as in making plans together. I need to know about a plan like at least 48 hours in advance. Like I can't have a spontaneous thing to be happening to me. I like to have my schedule aligned, my agenda written out.
That's so Dutch of you. You've
I know.
integrated well.
I know I was like this before when I came. Maybe in my past days I was a Dutch person.
Are Ukrainians not like that? In general?
I think that comes from uncertainty avoidance. No, just from uncertainty in general, because like yeah, every like your whole life you're just very uncertain of future, so it's nice when you can plan it out and kind of have this little image in your head of how everything like laid out well, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the same I think where it comes from me, but I'm also a very organized person, so
Yeah, that's something we're alike in.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So and she's very like spontaneous, last minute. Like I could call her up and say like, let's go like in half an hour, do this, and she's gonna do it or something.
Yeah.
So that's like these simple things that we are not alike, and sometimes I feel like that could cause a bit of tension or misunderstanding. But that might be also easy to solve if you just be a bit more patient with each other. But that's something that I learned like on the way, and I think like in the first years when we were friends with her, I wasn't really patient with many things.
Yeah.
And that could create like a bit of hurtful feelings for each other or something like that.
Yeah. Interesting.
And what about you?
I think most of my friends are pretty similar to me. In terms of like how we communicate, how we express our feelings, things like that, which makes it pretty easy. When I did have friends who were more opposite than me, it was often internationals, I think. Which of course we did in international studies, so there were a lot of those. And then those cultural differences, those are also very interesting, I think, because as international students we do search for this kind of differentiating factor between people, because we might be used to like living in a like small bubble of like people who are all similar to you. So we're kind of searching for that something different, something contrasting from you. And although it sometimes can be a bit difficult, it is very exciting. So I think that's also super interesting. But in general, my friends are pretty like we're all pretty the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you just said about like international people from our study, which brings us to the topic of cultural differences, and especially now that we live in a world that is more like, how's it called, the word, like when it's globalized, exactly, that's what I'm looking for. I think a lot of us have international friends, or maybe in a way people that come from a different cultural like minority background, something like that. If culture shapes our values, do you think that could create differences in the friendship when you have international friends?
Definitely. communication style, of course,
Yeah.
but also politics.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of things are different, but I think people who apply for an international program already innately kind of desire this contrast sometimes, or this battle between like different opinions, and they might also really like that. I think there's also a lot of people who hate contrast and who only want like similar things and always stay the same and have like routines, but they like stay in the same village. They don't go to like they don't apply for an international program.
Yeah. But it's just interesting to me to see sometimes, like, even with people here, you see when people come from specific countries, even being abroad, they still stick to people from their own country. Like, they create these groups where they only hang out with people from their own country, which I never had that. I know some Ukrainian people that are only hanging out with, like, post-Soviet people from post-Soviet countries, like maybe Belarus or Poland or so on.
Yeah.
I never had that because I have, like, more Dutch friends than I have, like, my native people friends. So I found it interesting, like, you come here to another country and then you have, like, all these possibilities to integrate with another culture, but then you choose to stay within the same people as you are.
Yeah.
Like,
it might just be something like automatic because it's more easy to make friends with people who are similar to you. When I went to Japan to study, I remember there being like Dutch people on the campus as well, and I met them, but we didn't really click, so I also didn't become friends with them.
Yeah.
And in the end, I was part of like a friend group with all kinds of different nationalities from like Europe, from America, from Asia. So yeah, I think it always depends, but I think we are both the types of people who like a little bit of contrast, who like a little bit of difference. Yeah, I think it's also good because it keeps you like on your toes. Like, people might question you more, which your like-minded friends might not do. They might just agree with everything you say because they're like similar towards you.
Yeah.
But those people who are more like opposite to you, they might be like, oh, you think like that, but like in my culture we see it like this and this, and then a certain dialogue gets started. um, starts. Which you would never have with like those similar friends.
Yeah.
To you. So it can bring a lot.
But if we think, like, let's just look at example of us, basically, because we are from different cultures.
Yeah.
Like,
Dutch Ukrainian,
yes. Is anything coming to the mind when we think about, like, what are the first things that, like, really, you know, like, pop in your face when you think, like, oh, we're so different because of our cultural backgrounds?
I think a big difference between us is that you're more assertive and I'm more passive.
True.
You're on your shit. You're like,
good one.
We're gonna do this and this and that, or it's gonna happen, and I'm more like, oh, but I need time to like think about it and prepare, and I don't know, and
But that's why, like, then we work well. Because you can slow me down and I can speed you up.
Yeah.
If you need to put it in a way.
And that's also what a lot of research suggests, like how opposites can work if it's like complementary to each other.
Yeah, good one.
So if one is more dominant and one is more passive, that could work, because imagine there's two dominant people in a relationship. It's gonna like clash. It's gonna maybe give like fights. And if you have two more passive people, they won't see each other because no one ever says like, hey, let's meet. You know?
Yeah.
So
okay.
In that sense, opposites can really work.
Very recently, I was in a group with people where suddenly, like, with friends, you know, like a group of friends, some of them I know a bit better, some of them I don't really know that well.
Yeah.
And then the topic of politics was brought up, which is like a very random thing to me, because normally, like, with you, I don't think I ever really go deep dive into like political like changes or something. And normally with my best friend, we also don't really talk much about it. But then suddenly this happened, and then there were people with very contrasting opinions, and also like they were like close, like they are close friends. So I wonder, like, how it is like the best to talk about those things where you can potentially have a big, like, opposing opinions, like, without that influencing your friendships or your relationships. I feel like that's
Good
really
question,
difficult.
yeah.
I don't know.
First of all, I think maybe why we don't really talk politics is because I'm mostly only interested in like Dutch politics.
Yeah, I don't know any Dutch.
Really know anything
exactly.
about that. But for example, with Nola, I've been talking about that. like a lot. But then when we're with you, we're like, we kind of like park that because you're not Dutch, so it's also not that interesting for you. So it might also just be like a cultural thing, because you and your best friend are also not from the same country.
Exactly.
You know?
But then how's it for you? Because like, so you were like what, on Thursday you were talking with my boyfriend, and Nola, you guys were talking for a bit about the politics. Like, how does that? Well, I know that for you it worked out that you had the same opinions, you know. But then
with most of my friends, we have like similar political party preferences. So then you already can see like you have similar values in life as well. But then, for example, I have friends from like my high school years that are like very right-winged, and still I don't really feel like any like internal disgust towards them. Of course, I see them less often, so it makes it easier to kind of just accept them for who they are. And if it comes to a point where someone says gay people shouldn't have rights, of course I could never be friends with a person like that, or women shouldn't have rights. But if you have the dialogue and you hear like someone has an opposing view to you, but they're not like taking away any people's rights, for me it's pretty easy to just be like, okay, that's fine, that's your opinion, that's how you see it, and then I just move on, you know. Because there might be other areas where we do click in humor or in interest or whatever. So for me it's not really that difficult to kind of just move on, and I don't get educated, I think that's the word. Like, I don't get frustrated very quickly. Agitated.
Agitated, yeah. You don't get educated? Oh no, Aaron, you're not educated, no.
I don't get agitated. What?
Agitated?
I don't even,
Help us, please, right? I was like in a comment how to say this word properly.
I don't get frustrated by people
having... That's
better. I love having discussions with people with opposing views to me. And I sometimes people can have the feeling with me like I get upset with them. It's just I really enjoy having like a conversation about I think this way because, but why do you think that way? And I am not there to convince you to think like me. But I do think it's super interesting to like kind of figure out how the other person thinks. So coming back to that example of those guys who were like not like aligned within their political parties, I also think, why would they get so like emotional with it? Because they were both like left-wing parties, and it's literally like if you're
you need to code this better. You need to beep this.
If one is left and if one is right, okay, I get that you can get emotional because it talks about your values. But if it's like basically like very left or a little left, then come on, like get over yourself. I think the clue with this is, if you are a person and you know of yourself that you can handle other people's opinions, then it's fine to talk about. But if you know certain topics make you feel very like agitated, then it might just be best for the friendship to just sometimes park it, to just like leave it behind and just like not talk about it.
I agree.
Because it could ruin a friendship.
Oh yeah, some opinions definitely could ruin.
Already.
So
moving from friendships to relationships. You are in one, I'm not.
Yeah.
That's, I think, important.
That's gonna be interesting to know like how we perceive it as in like person that is in a relationship and the one that is not in a relationship, how like we think about these things.
Because what I also thought about this morning was I've never had a relationship before, so in that sense I can't really give my opinion based on my personal experience. However, I've had my best friends who were like in relationships, and then they were all like straight couples, so guy girl, and because I was best friends with the guys, I got all of like their side of the story. But often I don't know, maybe because I'm gay, I also created bonds with the girls and they told me all about their side of the story. So for a lot of relationships in my personal like circle, I could like hear like the entire experience. And I feel like my opinion is also based a lot upon things like that. You know?
If we think about the times when both of us were attracted to someone who was complete opposite of you, like how was that? Like what was the experience about it?
Well, for me, I'm only ever attracted to opposites of me.
Yeah. So,
I've rarely felt attraction to guys who were like similar to me.
so gay.
It's damn. Don't put me like that. They are often straight, which is very opposite of me by nature, of course, but also in personality types.
Yeah.
I see myself as pretty reserved and like laid back, and then I'm always into guys who are very social and have like their words ready and like are very like center of the room.
Yeah.
And that's also what I said earlier. Like a lot of research suggests that that might be because you see certain traits that you wish you had. So I might subconsciously be attracted to those guys because not necessarily because I wanted them, but I wanted to be like them.
Yeah.
Which is
Right.
very interesting. It's always the same type of people. Yeah.
Okay. Because I know that what the research says,
Yeah.
says, is that people are often like as a first, like I don't know how to say this, like they get attracted to a person because the person is very different from them, and that will only last you a very short period. But when it comes to long-term relationship, that never works.
No.
Having like opposite like opinions and views and values and everything. So
that's what I also thought, because that might explain why opposites attract so explosively at the start, because you're like, oh, I want to be like that. Very subconsciously. No one actually thinks that, but that's what happens inside according to like psychology. But as time develops, it's gonna change into you subconsciously again realizing that you can never kind of be like them because you're not like them. You're like yourself. You have your own personality traits because of your own experiences. And so at one point it's gonna shift from, oh, I wish I was like that, to why are you like that?
Boom, boom, boom,
because
mic drop.
They get frustrated because they cannot be like that themselves, you know. For example, if you have a very introverted person and they like a very extroverted person, at the start they might be like, oh, I really enjoy this person and he gets me out of my shell, and that's good for me. But after like maybe a few months or a few years, it's going to be like, why can he never stay in for a quiet night with me?
Exactly.
So it's going to change from the desire to kind of be this way to a desire for them to be like you. Because I think that's the whole point of like opposites attract, the contrast between it as well. We have both this desire of like explosivity and like differences and like kind of be like stimulated, but at the same time innately we really want people who are the same as us. So that's what goes wrong often, because you kind of want two very contrasting things.
We're so complex as human beings. We're so complex.
We're so difficult.
We're so difficult. I'm so like, I need to think about this. Like, I need to take time to figure out it for myself.
What about you? You have a boyfriend?
I do, yes.
Yeah. I always find it interesting because if you look, for example, at gay people, a man and a man, you could say by nature they are already more similar. So that might, you could in theory say that might make it more easy to kind of, I don't know, act with each other.
Yeah.
And by nature, a man and a woman can be very different. They can, of course, be very similar. How do you feel like in your relationship with your boyfriend? Are you more similar, or are you also opposite from each other? Do you complement each other?
Yeah, I think in a way we are opposite, but our fundamental values are the same, and that's what keeps the relationship going, I guess. Hopefully for a really long time. But like if we think about like for example that we both really like to have our routines, so we figured out how to combine it together, and like every Saturday, for example, we have a routine of going together to the market, and then we would get a coffee somewhere, and then we would maybe go to thrift stores or something, and then we'll go home. So it's like the same thing that we do on Saturday that kind of brings the security of the day, basically. Or if you think about the future, that both of us like to have a bit of a more clear direction or planning for future. So we both like, okay, we know both of that we're gonna be working after graduating. We both are gonna be hopefully buying a house at this and this time. So it's like these general goals that we have, and they are similar in this sense. but then we are very different in like our everyday life. So I think my boyfriend is very chaotic by himself. Like he's just very like forgetful and everything for him is just like his head is like going faster than his hands do. So it's just very also visible in like the way he acts every day, and I'm a bit more organized and more like laid out with everything. So that's like the differences, but I don't think that creates sometimes a bit of like here he goes again or something, you know, but it doesn't really make like a problem out of it or like an issue. Like that doesn't ruin our relationship. We kind of complement each other in this way, I think.
So I think anyone can imagine how someone who is more structured can complement someone who is more messy. But what about if you turn it around? How does his messiness of unorganizedness, not a word, not native speaker, how does that sometimes complement you?
Well, I think that he can be sometimes a bit more spontaneous with things. So I'm not a spontaneous person at all. I don't like being spontaneous. I need to, like I already said, oh my god, I'm so like I can't. I'm so old with this. But he can come up sometimes with like random things to do now, and we just do them now, and we do it together. So that's kind of pulling me out of the house. Let's say when I'm feeling like the whole day sitting inside of the house.
Yeah.
Or like there's also a lot of things that come like from our like I guess upbringing and also culture that is very different.
Yeah.
So literally yesterday we were talking about this like very weird thing. Like bear with me. This is like very very weird. No.
Is it sexual?
No.
Ah.
Come on. But it's just like so for example, I have this thing that when I'm in the house, I normally wear my home clothes.
Okay.
Or like let's say I come from work. The first thing I do when I come back in is just I change my clothes to wearing like a more comfy home clothes or something.
Yeah.
But my boyfriend, the first thing that he does when he gets out of bed, he puts on the outside clothes, even if he's gonna spend most of the day inside, like in the house, which makes me go crazy because I'm like, why are you wearing outside clothes inside the house? Like, I feel like everything is so tight. Like, don't you wanna wear like sweatpants and relax or something? But then, and for us, it's not always normal. Like, especially also with dressing up when I need to go to the store. Like, I can just go like in my Crocs and my like dirty sweatpants or whatever. It doesn't matter because like who cares? I'm going to the shop. But he would always like look like he's going to school, although he's just going to Albertheim. Like, why is that? So we were talking about it, and he was like, yeah, because like my parents were like this, so they would always be dressed when even if they spend the whole day in the side of the house. And he said like, I like to represent myself or like have a bit of more pride in how I look when I go outside, because he's from a smaller town or more like a village, I guess. So maybe it was more normal for people there to like show up uninvited to your house, and you need to be ready whenever, you know. But for me, it's really like, who's coming to me? Like, no one's coming. I didn't invite anyone, so like I don't care. So these kind of like things, they can create a bit of a tension, I guess. But then we need to talk about it and like figure this out.
Yeah.
But I also like, if we think about my attraction to the, so if we summarize it, I always feel like I end up being more romantically interested in people that are similar to me in a way. But of course, like we were talking about, this like contrast like always creates a bit of like a spark or like interest in like, oh, they're so mysterious, like what's about them, like that makes me so like interested.
Yeah.
But then in the end, when you get to know them closer, you're like, what the fuck, like
that's always what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I just get very disappointed, and I'm like, oh ew, like that's the person I found like I had a crush on, like why, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's why, you know, opposites attract, but they don't last, you know.
boom, 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 period.
I think that's the clue of it all. But on the same hand, humans also have this tendency to like get like super frustrated when life gets kind of boring.
Yeah.
And if you're with people who are completely similar to you, life can get that sense of boring. So ideally,
That's true.
I think you would be like in a relationship or in a friendship with someone who indeed shares the same values and blah blah blah, but also has something like differentiating from you that keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, but I also read that apparently 90% of like couples are similar in their values, so it's a very little percent that can make it work, I guess, of this differences or something. But I don't know, like also what about this thing where when you're dating a person for a long time and like you end up looking alike, or like you end up like also even your visual look. Like I remember when I just started dating my boyfriend, like in the first year, maybe like in the first months that we were officially like dating,
Yeah.
I would meet my friends and they will say to me like first time seeing him, they would be like, you guys are so similar, or like you look alike or something. Like,
Yeah.
although where am I looking? Like he's
Siblings or dating.
yeah, basically that. But I'm like, the only thing is just we have blonde hair, but like that's all, you know.
You have that a lot with gay couples as well, where they literally look like twin brothers, like exactly the same. Yeah.
I wonder where that's coming from. Like,
Yeah.
do you
Maybe-
want to date yourself? Do you want
Yeah,
to fuck
very
yourself?
big egos, maybe. I don't know.
I don't have those egos. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, let's talk about our final thoughts. So, do opposites attract? I think yes. Do opposites last? I think not. I think similarity is what predicts long-term like relationships. However, I do think if you're talking about friendships, it's nice to at least have someone who you're very similar to, so you can kind of like always have someone who understands you. But also, it is good to have someone who's very contrasting to you, because it kind of keeps you on your toes, and it can also help you grow and maybe come with points that you and your similar friends never got to.
But not too much.
Not too much. It should always be a balance.
Yeah.
And then in the end, I just think it's most important that you align on values, that you respect each other, that you're curious towards each other. Like, I do think it's very important to have two curious people. So even if you have different interests, you also have like a certain... like, yeah, you want to also get involved with the other person's thoughts and feelings. If those things are not happening, I would say run. Escape. Run for your life. Because I think there's always people who are like in relationships where people are very different from them, but they see like this kind of potential of how they could be, or like it might be different over time. No, it won't be.
Yeah.
Run. Escape. Those are my thoughts.
Very good.
Yes.
I mean, yes.
What are your thoughts? Final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Please.
Well, I completely agree with everything that you said. I think it's just the contrasting and the similarities just need to be in a healthy amount, combined with each other. And like, just to give like a bigger summarized thought to this, because I want to repeat the thing that you already said. I think it's important that we all just stay patient. Stay passionate as well, but like stay patient with each other, and let each other speak, and like let each other listen as well. So I think that's gonna also solve a lot of problems. But yeah, don't be delusional. Like, if the person is mysterious or what's not, or like you're like, oh, they're so different from me, like
Run.
I want them.
Escape.
Like, no, just grow up, like be mature, get a job, you know, like that's all. Nou ja. Zeg dat wel.
Yeah, good talk. Will we make these smart decisions always? No. Specifically me. What are you trying to dap me up? Like, real bro, like, yeah.
Okay, bye.
Good night.
We should do like the nee 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 nee.